You're watching Drakewing Gaming. Enjoy the video.
Hey guys and gals, Never here from Drakewing Gaming, a Sunny Mountward of the Gaming Drag. Today I'm coming back at you with the Let's Play episode of Conway, Wolf's Path. So let's go ahead and jump right back into it, shall we? Alarm chain, you were up, and let's go. Okay. Not at all. There is always a point when a young man like yourself must want to spread his wings, or hers perhaps. He catches himself and turns back to the horizon to calm himself while he ponders that before giving a decisive nod. Yes, certainly. I think it must be a universal instinct. I'm sure everyone feels that call in the core of their very being. I just wish it involved more carriages and fewer boats. For me, there was only so far I could hope to go on land. Oh? What is it you were leaving behind? Your nest, as it were? My family is a small homestead. In a good year, there are as many mouths to feed as there are plots to feed them with. In a bad year... Ah, I see. But no, it isn't quite that simple, is it? Not so pragmatic. Don't get me wrong, we get by. Got by. We got by. We could sustain ourselves, but I don't think farm life was for me. Not forever. That is understandable as well. Spend your whole life in one place, and the temptation to see other worlds would be terribly difficult to ignore. Not to say that the roving impulse is felt by all of us equally. There must be separate fashions for separate kinds. The spheres of our various interests and talents. Am I rambling? I don't know. A little. My spirits are lifting. That is what has happened. I do think looking towards the horizon helped after all. Maybe it is time I saw it for what it truly is. It seems to be a rather philosophical statement, but the painted dog is clearly a man of some intellect. You try to meet him on the same ground. A nest? No. No. I mean, could I have my glasses back, if you would be so kind? I can hardly see you, let alone our destination or our origin. He holds out his hand. You're not sure he'd even need the other to support himself, now let alone both, and you carefully set the glasses in the painted dog's palm. He places them smartly on the bridge of his muzzle, and then adjusts them precisely until he's satisfied with the fit. Much better, thank you. Of course, is the water any less troubling? Objectively, no, but I shall manage. So, why the Conway, then, if you're not a sailor and you don't like traveling? Traveling is lovely, in the right circumstances, of course. It is a change of scenery for myself, as you might have imagined. He gestures at himself, and with the glasses the genteel air is well and truly cemented. Coming aboard with no mess kit or fishing tackle or whatever sort of accoutrements. That's not how you pronounce that word, but I am so used to hearing it that way. I would be expected to have as a proper tar. It is despite his scholarly bearing, a number of words and phrases you also don't recognize. Perhaps Julian can help you later. For now, you focus on the painted dog. But you wanted the change of scenery? Is that not the rub? I am being brought over by my patron, who desires that I work on her estate in the south. Paid to travel the world? Sounds like quite a lovely offer. I guess you're not sleeping with the sailors, either. I am not, no. The accommodations are quite reasonable, all things considered. But the voyage is, to be honest, mostly done from necessity. Even if I were one of those professorial types, installed like a statue in a library, not everything can be done that way. Such as? I am to turn my energies and industries in full on the diversity of flora in that region, thereby to assemble a compendium of such notes and such conclusions as may lead to profitable ends. It sounds important, right? He smiles, his mood improving by the minute. I shall gather plants to see if any of them might be useful to my patron in her business. She's bringing me down there to allow me to do my work. As I said, I cannot do it in the library. Many of them have not been documented at all, at least not in languages any of us speak. I will be the first. It sounds like you do have a wonderful opportunity, then. Being paid for everything, living in a fancy estate, traveling without needing to get your fur soaked in tallow and grease. His smile becomes a little gentler. True, I could not care less about the money, but the discoveries, that is a different matter. I may have preferred to stay home, truth be told, but when else would I be able to see the other side of the world like this? Never? Not the way you might, obviously. Paying for the voyage itself, no matter what accommodation, would be out of the question, I am quite sure of that. And I am not cut out to be a sailor. Even once I learned to keep my food down and my eyes looking elsewhere, I could not do it. Why? What makes you say that? Why could I not be a sailor? It's just not me, I suppose, for lack of any better or more useful ways of putting it. It is for some people. As if he might have overstepped, he clears his throat and gestures to you. Nothing against you, of course. Far from it. I mean to say that it is... I am not made for it. That is the problem. It is too dangerous, too physical. He trails off and lets his hand fall. I am simply not adventurous in that fashion. Sure you are, though. You're sailing around the world right now. You said so yourself. That sounds plenty adventurous to me. Sailing around a very particular world, my friend. A very particular one indeed. Here, I have a little cabin all my own. There, I shall have the estate, and perhaps even an assistant to help with my work. I feel the world around which I am sailing is only incidentally the one shared by the good ship Conway. I suppose, but it doesn't look that comfortable for you. An artifact of my softness, though, is it not? Even once that is past, no matter what, I will not be the one climbing up these... Are these the ropes they climb? I think they're the ropes they pull on to set the sails. Nobody's aloft right now, but you recall the ones you saw their sailors scrambling up and point them out. Those are the ones they'll be climbing. He looks at you, expectantly, with his brow furrowed, with his brow raised. Wheel. Those are the ones we'll be climbing. Right, so, and when there is a storm, my duties will be to keep my glasses about me, and my food in my stomach. Yours will be to keep the ship sound and all aboard her safe. He regards you with what, despite his station, seems almost like genuine respect. But that's what I am cut out for. I prefer it that way. Before you can answer, the ship's bell chimes. In case you didn't understand the meaning, a sailor's voice raises above it. Dinner is ready. How are you feeling? Well enough to eat? I suppose so, yes. Ah, that's a relief. The cook is quite good, I'm told. Something to look forward to. Well, I will not be dining with the crew, unfortunately, but I hope to find out nonetheless. Perhaps we'll meet again, do you suppose? Thank you for the company. I would certainly not mind sharing it again. Well, then, yes, I hope so. Enjoy your dinner, He cants his head, peering at you curiously before it strikes him. Oh, goodness, 1,000 apologies. I am Nomax. It is a pleasure meeting you. He holds out his hand for you to shake, and, while yours is clean enough to feel the gesture permissible, you take him up on the offer. It's nice to meet you, Nomax. I'm James. James, yes, I see. A pleasure meeting you as well. With a polite bow, he makes his way steadily down the ladder to the main deck. He's careful, putting one foot in front of the other, but at least he no longer seems like he needs to spend every moment bent over the railing. Like most of those you've met, he seems like an interesting fellow with a bit of a character. You find yourself liking him despite his slight awkwardness. There's not much space aboard the Conway, so you expect to see more of the painted dog. And if it's not looked upon favorably for the crew and passengers to mingle, well, surely Nomax would be the first to tell you that you should make your own destiny in that regard. You smile to yourself and decide that that will have to be the case, and it's time for you to get going yourself. Dinner beckons. And you think you can already feel yourself becoming steadier on your feet, and not as graceful as the maned Wolf Samuel, but then you've only been aboard a few hours. You are not, for instance, accustomed to how quickly the open-air topside gives way to the oppressive darkness of the ship's interior. There are hardly any openings to the outside world, save for the hatches that are also the only source of fresh air. Fortunately for the moment, the dominant smell is that of the fresh cooking. It's thick in the air, and you already know it will be delicious. Of course, first you have to find where it is. The last of the day's light flickers through scanty windows, sending faint beams through rising steam and motes of dust. Beneath it are the shifting, dim forms of your fellow crew. The end of the room marks the door to the officers' quarters. You can see Arthur in conversation with some feline, a cheetah you haven't seen before. It's not your world, anyway. You belong here, in the milieu of the other working men on the Conway. Later, in the common areas, there where the crew will set up their hammocks, if you understand correctly. For now, wooden crates have been set up as tables. Sailors are already occupying them, sitting, eating, playing cards, savoring the respite from the shifts to follow. On one side, tucked away in a corner by himself, Wolf has found a relatively quiet spot, though you sense it's difficult, indeed, to truly be alone with your thoughts on a ship of this size. Elsewhere, Samuel and Jillian have found a place for themselves, apparently without having to come to further blows. A few other sailors are sitting with them. You duck under a heavy beam, congratulating yourself for not discovering the sturdy wooden brace with your forehead. And now, sailor that you are, comes the most important choice of your day. With whom do you end it? Who do you want to seek out for dinner? Join Wolf in the corner. Yay, Wolf. Okay. Before you go over to Wolf and grab your share of... Before you go over to Wolf, you grab your share of today's dinner. A plate with a rather generous slice of salmon, by the looks of it, with some sauce and bread to go with it. Pretty good looking. Something of a last hurrah in leaving a port before the quality of the food steadily starts to deteriorate as the days go by. It looks mouth-wateringly delicious, and Bandile, the cook, even makes sure to garnish it for every crew member so that it really looks the part. Thank you so much, Bandile. It's a pleasure to finally meet you. It looks amazing. Samuel's been talking up your cooking, and I couldn't wait. Oh? Oh, why, thank you very much. How's he now? Well, I think you've just ensured that Samuel will have a little extra care put into his meal tomorrow. The hare smiles proudly. You're one of the new pups, then, eh? I don't recognize your face. He leans his head sideways as he scans your face a little more thoroughly, racking his brain to ensure he hasn't just forgotten about you. Yes, James. New and ready for anything, or whatever it is that I'm supposed to say on my first day. Wonderful, wonderful, James. Enthusiasm never hurts, I can tell you that much. He almost bounces with that joyful springiness that many hares seem to radiate. I'll hold you to account if that changes in a week or two. And don't you get all sour on me, understand? I appreciate it. What do you have for me today? Looks like salmon and, Oh, yes, today's freshest catch in town. Hand-picked by yours truly this morning from that shop in the, bright yellow house right down the street from the harbor. He pauses and massages his forehead, struggling to remember the details. Lovely old lady runs it. Her son and grandson run their ship. Oh, from Gundred's store? She's a Condred, right! She's a treasure. I remember when I was a kid years ago. I'd go there occasionally with my mother, and she'd always make sure to give me a little bite of their smoked eel for free. We could never afford to buy it, but she always pushed a little something into my paws. Your expression starts to light up as you let your memories drift back to those times. She seemed very kind, not surprised at all. But I didn't get any small bites for free. You probably set the bar too high for how cute one has to be for that. Bandile crosses his arms in front of his chest to play the part of a grumpy child. I don't... What? The grumpy role he was playing breaks when you are caught off guard, giving you a cheeky wink to leave you flustered. This isn't what you expected to hear on your first day. But you don't exactly mind it either way. Fish, though! Changing the subject, Bandile grabs one of the plates and places one of the slices of salmon on it. The sizzling in the skillet intensifies briefly as he pushes a fork into the fish and takes it out. He places a few stalks of asparagus next to it and pours cream-colored sauce over it, thick enough that it only begins to run when the salmon warms it up. What's the sauce? Oh, it's a lemon and dill sauce. Nice and creamy and a favorite of the crew together with the salmon when we leave port. I'm sure you'll love it. He smiles as he places a decorative slice of lemon on top of the fish and rounds it all off with a sprinkling of fresh herbs and a generously sized piece of bread. Oh, I never said anything to the contrary. It looks good enough that I want to sit in it myself. You take the plate when he hands it over to you and a flick of your tongue zips across your lips. Enjoy, James. For now, you best get going. I still got some people waiting behind you. But it's been a pleasure. Tell me how it was next time. Look over your shoulder and see someone waiting right next to you. You pick up your pace to clear the space and give them a chance to get their dinner. Actually, that conversation went a little differently this time. Interesting. Alright, y'all, I'm actually going to pause it right there. Thank y'all so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, ring that notification bell, and check out our Patreon if you can. It always helps. Before I go, I'm going to give a quick shout-out to our lovely bronze tier patrons. Thank y'all if I do for the channel. We greatly appreciate your support. Thank you to our silver tier patron, Cade Summer. Thank you going above and beyond. It's greatly appreciated. Thanks to our 3 gold tier patrons, Zeke, Toby, and Blue Wolf Alpha. Y'all are awesome. We love you. Thank you for subbing to Ultimate Tier. Anyway, if y'all want to get your names in the credits, get access to all of our unsafe for work contents as little as $5. Alrighty, I love you all, and I'll see you all in the next video. Bye-bye!